This video is brought to you by eToro. Now, you may have seen that eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs. Now, if you don't have time to invest, you can use eToro's CopyTrader feature, copy top performing investors, so when they make a trade, you make the same trade automatically at no additional cost. Then click the link in the description and get on it right now. AFTV DT, it's not a defeat, it's not a win. What is it?
I suppose you've got to look at it with the sending off as a point gained. That's the reality. We didn't want a point. We never set out to get a point. I feel that the way the players reacted in the second half especially, just like the start of the second half against Burnley, was really good. The move for the goal, I know everyone will give the plaudits to Eddie for the flick, which was brilliant, but that was created by Saka. For the first time, somebody drove at them. And that's what we wanted to see. Aubameyang, that's where he wants the ball. That's where he wants to...
If the ball's going to fall to anybody...
Him.
You want it to fall to him.
Yeah.
There, we've seen Lacazette get chances like that, hit it straight at the keeper. Eddie Nketiah get chances like that, hit it straight at the keeper. You want it to fall to him. The thing about him, and we've seen this in many a times, that he might not even be having the greatest of times, but you get the ball in those areas,
he'll score.
He's clinical.
Yeah.
And that could be a big moment for him personally, getting that goal. And it was just such a pity that after that we went down to 10 men, because we wasn't really then able to see if he could double that up.
Yeah, yeah. And look, there's no excusing it. You call out Pepe for letting the team down. You call out Granit Xhaka for letting the team down. Gabriel let the team down. Our best defender was having a horrible night.
Hold on, it's a different,
no.
Different
yeah,
type
listen,
of...
I'm going to get to it, but what I'm saying is, he's still, by getting a red card and, you know, a silly first yellow card, knowing that he got too tight, Theo spun him and not letting him go was kind of, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say in terms of the letdown. It wasn't the petulant stupidness of the other two. Let's get that right. Pepe leaned his head in and Granit grabbed him around the neck. It wasn't in that sense, but it was stupid whilst on a yellow card. Yeah. Is probably the best way of explaining it. So when I look at that and I think to myself, 3 red cards, and they've had a massive turning point on the games, because Pepe gets sent off against Leeds and it's 0-0. Granit Xhaka gets sent off the other day.
Burnley.
And it's
0-0 at the time.
And we were in the ascendancy and playing well. And then tonight we get the goal back within 7 minutes of the restart. We look fired up, we look good, and then boom, it happens again. And once that happens, you kind of think to yourself, you're not going to win the game. Although we nearly did with Rob Holding.
Rob Holding, right.
We had to weather some storms. We had to weather some, you know, hairy moments.
He defended pretty well.
I thought Rob Holding done well, very airily tonight. I thought he did really well airily. I thought Maitland-Niles looked comfortable defensively. Some moments where he got caught out, but I felt overall he had a decent enough performance. Tierney does exactly what it says on the tin sort of thing, but I would rather him not in a free of the defensive shape. But yeah, you kind of got to look on it as a point. But what I will say, and I was alluding to this earlier on, I can guarantee Gabriel comes out on social media and apologises for what he did. You know, the last few weeks, he's been the first to come out and apologise for performances that were not his fault, because he's big enough and man enough to turn around and take it on the chin and say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say to the fans, look, not good enough. We need to do this, this and this. And I guarantee he comes out and apologises. And not that that's an issue. The issue is that Granit Xhaka's still not come out and apologised for what he done at the weekend. So how can he get away with not coming out and apologising?
He's a senior player as well.
But then Gabriel, I'm pretty confident in saying that within 24 hours, probably tonight, he will come out and say, I'm sorry, what, you know, etc., etc. And
still no win though, and still pressure on Mikel Arteta. They backed him during the week. Edu's saying, I mean, rather bizarrely saying he's doing a wonderful job. I mean, come on, he's not. But it's something for him to hold on to tonight. It's not a defeat. Although we did see a manager last night in Slaven Bilic go to Manchester City, where everyone thought they'd get smashed, get a draw, and he still got sacked.
Well,
so is it the right decision? What's happening at the moment to keep hold of the manager? What do you see that says he's the right guy?
I've seen enough all along that and we've had this discussion over and over and over and over so many times that.
But to keep asking it until we win games.
You can, and what I will say about tonight is I saw a group of players that were actually playing for him, and you can't deny that.
You're fighting for him, you feel?
Yeah, because if they really wanted to down tools, they had the perfect excuse when we went down to 10 men. Because we could have lost that game, and what would have been the majority of the reaction?
Out.
No, not just that, but what would have been the majority of the reaction? It would have been the players would have got away with, there would have been the individual who gets blamed for the sending off, but the collective would have got away with one there tonight, boys. Yeah, we're not going to get blamed for that. It's his fault because he got sent off. Yeah, lovely. Manager's halfway out the door now. Didn't look like that to me. Looked like a group of players that were fighting. There were moments when David Luiz came on and we were making clearances and getting a foul in the box, and they were, you know what I mean? Like proper, like, yes, well done, good. And people can laugh or whatever it might be, or because we're celebrating a draw or whatever, but given the context of everything, we're in a really not celebrating a draw, but just happy to get through it. That showed a team that had a bit of fight about them, and they were fighting for the manager. So that side of things, it shows me that they are all on the same page in that respect. It is right. The club have made a very, very conscious decision to change him from coach to manager. They have specifically built everything outside of the club, externally and internally, to suit Mikel Arteta. The worst thing you could do is get rid of him now, and then you've got to do the whole structure rechange again and everything else. So they believe that they've done this for a reason, and that although times are bad and there's no excusing it, there's no masking over it or anything, they believe he's the right man to get them out of this predicament we're in at the moment. And myself and quite a lot of fans still believe, big time still believe. It's always the minority that are the loudest. So it's fine. You could say, no,
minority,
listen, you can.
A lot.
Listen, you could.
I don't know if it's been...
There's millions of... Listen, Twitter is not the fan base.
I know that. You are right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But there has been... I wouldn't just
I say there's a lot.
You're trying to make it seem like a tiny
No, I'm not
minority,
saying trying to just tiny little bit. But there's a big majority of fans that are behind the manager. And they believe that it is the players responsible, and that it's, a collective over years gone by. And we've explained this, and I've gone through it so many times. How many players you see in a starting 11 that are from the Wenger era, right all the way through? And at what point do you look and go, manager, same players. So let the man have his time. Let him go through this season. Let him do what he needs to do. And then at the end of the season, where have we finished, whatever it is, and, once he's got January and brings in some players if he can, or, we get rid of these players, because that's what I'm so looking forward to the most, is the end of this season when so many are out of the door. And there's no ifs, buts or maybes with that.
And
they're gone.
Hopefully he's not one of them.
Well, I hope so.
Still got to step up the results.
Yes, of course.
Everton coming up. Chelsea coming up.
Yes. Yeah, big games. Big games.
Needs at least one win out of those.
He does. And what I do hope is that tonight gives a little bit of a lift for everybody. And I know it's very easy to compare. And I use these as examples because everyone uses Liverpool as an example because they were the team that replicated in a similar sense to us, where they were so poor, had to completely build from the ground up. And yes, Jurgen Klopp had a lot more experience in comparison to Mikel Arteta, but there was one point in the season where they drew home to West Brom. And you remember, everyone was laughing, they went up to the Kop end and they all put their hands in the air, and certain results, certain moments, certain things could be the defining part.
This could be a turning point?
It could be. I'm not saying it is, I'm saying it could be. The fact they were able to battle through, it's been a tough week, there's a lot of pressure. The last thing those players knew could not happen today was a defeat. First and foremost, we go a goal down. I think we're quite unfortunate because of the ricochet that puts Theo in the first place. But we reacted. We get in at half-time as well. And remember, we had a couple of little moments in the first half to get a goal as well in there. come out in the second half, and clearly it's a team that's come out and they've taken the manager's instructions on board, and they're out of the traps. 2 games in a row, and they've responded. A man who's supposedly under so much pressure couldn't score unless it's at the wrong end. That didn't look like a man that's on a goal drought. That's what Oba can do, and that's what we need him to do more. And there looked hunger within the players. They did. And damage limitation when you go down to 10 men. Like it or not, the likelihood is that you're not going to win. We nearly snatched it. And we probably wouldn't have deserved that. A draw on the balance would have probably been a fair result, and it is a fair result. But we ended up nearly snatching it. That could have been like send you through the roof. That would have been unreal. But you've got to, take stock, look at it, say, you know what, it's a point. We've stopped that bit of a rot now of the defeats and everything else. It's not 5 games in a row that we've lost at home. Yes, it's not 5 wins that we've won at home, but it's not 5 defeats. So you stop runs and you stop it, and then you try to build. And that's what hopefully today will have done. It will give them a bit of confidence to try and build on that. And ultimately, the only way we're going to prove it is on the pitch. Next step, Everton. Going to be a tough game. Very tough game. Back to winning form, couple of clean sheets. Goodison's never an easy place to go to. But let's go and see what happens there. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the point, given everything into context.
This video is brought to you by eToro. Now, you may have seen that eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs, and you might be wondering, who are they? Well, eToro is a global investment platform with over 16 million registered users, which offers everything from stocks, currencies and commodities to cryptos like Bitcoin. Now, if you don't have time to invest, eToro is perfect. You can use eToro's CopyTrader feature, copy top performing investors, so when they make a trade, you make the same trade automatically at no additional cost. So if you're looking to start investing and you want to find out more about eToro, then click the link in the description and get on it right now.